Hi, this is Summer with Being on Purpose, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the conscious mind and the unconscious mind and explain the difference between those two and why the unconscious mind is so important when you're working on clearing up procrastination habits. So the conscious mind is defined as anything that's in your conscious awareness, and at any given moment that can be about 7 items plus or minus 2. So any person can be aware of between like 5 to 9 things at any single given moment in time. And the unconscious mind is defined as our awareness of everything else that's not those 7 things. So for example, as you're watching this video, you probably weren't thinking about like what the bottom of your foot feels like, or you probably weren't thinking about what clothing feels like on your skin. You probably weren't thinking about what light sources are around you, maybe coming from up above you, and you probably weren't thinking about like what's directly behind you. And so all of these things are things that we're not generally thinking about. We're focused on certain things, and then everything else the unconscious mind is taking care of, including things like beating your heart, taking care of the pH levels in your body, and all the different biological things that happen, like digestion. I mean, everything pretty much in the body that happens is done by the unconscious mind, and some people call it the subconscious mind, and I just refer to them interchangeably. So the unconscious mind is really aware of millions of bits of data at any given moment in time, and it also stores all the memories and feelings and associations we have of things, all the way from childhood in the past all the way up till the present. So why is this important? The unconscious mind, a good way to think about it is like a filing cabinet, and it keeps things stored in certain files. So for example, I might have a grandparent file, like a grandmother file, and maybe in that file is stored lots of good memories and maybe some mixed memories. And then also there could be another file for other relationships in your life, like the parent file, the mom file, the dad file. And so all of these different memories and instances and like bits of data in our life are all stored in different files, and the unconscious mind organizes them and groups things together using association. And the conscious mind is really linear. It's very logical and rational, and it's the way scientists are trained to think, and researchers. So a scientist or researcher is going to do step by step, be very clinical and mathematical with things, and this caused this, and very step by step in order. So that's the way the conscious mind operates, but the unconscious mind operates not in that way. It operates not using rationality or traditional logic. The unconscious mind, though, doesn't really operate that way. It actually operates in more of a fashion where things just get associated based on these files that it's created. So I'll give you an example of something. Oh, also the unconscious mind can keep different, like, opposing beliefs. It can hold opposing beliefs at the same time, and this can cause internal conflicts, or what's sometimes called parts conflicts between different parts of the unconscious mind within the same person. And so I'll give you an example of this. A really common one is with money and wealth, abundance, and that type of thing. So a person can hold the belief that a wealth of abundance will bring pleasurable things and fun activities and free time and all of these wonderful things, and at the same time the unconscious mind can have another file that says money is the root of all evil. And it can hold both of these beliefs at the same time, even though they conflict and contradict each other. The unconscious mind will do that. So these are based on past experiences and memories of the person. And so it's important, whenever we're working with the unconscious mind, the goal is really to access and organize the files into a way that works for the conscious mind. And also, since these programs, some people call it like programs, because the unconscious mind will bring up feelings and thoughts that happen really automatically and spontaneously for a person. That's why someone can react to something in a way that they don't really like, but it just happens so quick that's because it's coming from the unconscious mind, and it's like a program, a memory that came most likely from childhood, but from some previous point in the person's life. And why this is important is that whenever we're trying to access and organize the files, we want to do it in such a way that it's working for the person and it flows and it agrees with their conscious mind and they get in alignment, and that it's also working for them in their life now. Because sometimes these programs are outdated. Like whenever the program got created, so going back in time, if a person learned from a young age, like maybe there was a scary brown dog in their life, so the unconscious mind created a file that said brown dogs are scary, and now later in life the person might have a phobia that they want to get rid of about brown dogs or all dogs. So we can update those files because that's no longer useful to the person to be believing that brown dogs are scary, and now as an adult the person wants to be able to have a dog or to be around dogs and enjoy them. So we can update those files and organize them. So how do we access these files that are in the unconscious mind? Well, there are several ways to do it. A really good way is to get into meditation. So meditation is a great thing to do because it focuses the conscious mind, and then where the mind kind of wanders while in meditation, which it's naturally going to do, just take note of where is it wandering to, what kind of things is the mind focusing on, because the unconscious mind will bring up all sorts of things that it's been, rumbling around in there. So when the conscious mind is still, the unconscious mind will bring up things to think about. So just in meditation, if you have a practice like that, or if you begin to practice meditation, just notice, well, where is the mind wandering to? Something else to pay attention to is your feelings, because your feelings are, we feel feelings in our body, literally in our nervous system. Like fear is often felt with a rushed heartbeat or tension in the stomach. And so every single feeling and emotion has a bodily sensation, which is how it manifests. So, and these are coming from the unconscious mind. So a good thing to ask yourself whenever you're paying attention to your feelings and looking at them as communication, and a way that your unconscious mind is talking to you and letting you know what it believes, you can ask yourself, when you're feeling something that maybe you don't want to be feeling, and say, well, what would my unconscious mind have to believe? What would I have to believe in order to be able to be feeling this right now? So if a person is up in front of, on a stage maybe, and they're giving a public speech and they have a fear about public speaking, then the fear that the body is generating, or those type of sensations, are letting the person know the unconscious mind has a belief that there's some danger there, and that can be updated because maybe that's not useful to the person to be feeling those feelings while they're in front of a large group of people. Another way to get in touch and access what files, what things are in your unconscious mind, is to do journaling and to ask introspective questions and start journaling. And a good practice is, something I like to do, is take 5 to 10 minutes a day, and maybe 15 or longer, but 5 to 10 is a good starting place. And put pen to paper, just start writing whatever comes to your mind first, and don't pick up the pen or stop writing for at least 5 to 10 minutes. So like set a timer, write the whole time, and don't stop until you get to the end of the timer, and then just see what comes out. And then over time, this will become a way for you to get in touch with your unconscious mind and what beliefs are there. Another way is using hypnosis and self-hypnosis. These are good ways to both access and to organize the files in the unconscious mind. So another thing that I want to talk to you about too today is, how do we change, or how can these programs be changed and updated? I would recommend, well, there's a couple different options. So one way is that you could educate yourself, learn things like self-hypnosis, learn more about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and those are techniques that can be learned and can be done by yourself without needing the help of someone else there to facilitate. Also, those are really good things that can be done with a good facilitator. So if you start to work on things by yourself, and you notice that things either aren't improving or are getting worse in some way, then I recommend that you go and find a good, trustworthy facilitator, someone like myself, someone who is trained and knows how to work with the unconscious mind. So another way is through self-hypnosis. That's a good way to make changes. Another way is also through journaling. I've made some belief changes and things just through journaling and writing out how do I want to be differently and what would I like to be believing instead. So basically, a lot of the ways that you can use to access the files in the unconscious mind can also be used to change those files, organize them, update them, and make them useful to your lifestyle and what you want to be doing now, how you want to be doing as a person at this time in your life. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave comments down below if you have any questions, if you're wondering anything about procrastination or how the unconscious mind works when working with procrastination. And visit my website also, there's more resources there, and I'll see you in the next video.